Maria put her scene come out. That he-
Hey, what is going on, Freedom Fighters? Welcome back to We Are Change Wednesday here on Break the Chains Media. Today is Wednesday, September 24th, 2025, and the sun is just beaming right in my office right now. It's great. It's a good start of fall. It was a nice sunny day. The sun was out after a few days of rain here in the Mile High City, but we are going to jump into it. We got some interesting breaking news that is happening today. Earlier this morning, we had the horrific wake up to another terrorist attack from a radical deranged leftist. So we are going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. But the larger picture of this post-Kirk America situation that we're all facing right now, that we're all trying to navigate through and trying to see what our best strategy is moving forward in this world and in this time. So we're going to talk about the deranged extremist. I want to preface that it really comes down to the extremist nature of these people and not necessarily just a leftist. It is more often than not a leftist, but these people are deranged. They are broken. They are unwell. So we're going to get into all that. We're going to talk about the psyche, but I think the biggest thing that we should be talking about is this James O'Keefe bombshell that we are going to be talking about regarding Jeffrey Epstein and the larger implications and the larger reason why Donald Trump has decided to basically call it all a hoax and call it all a gimmick, and it's a fraud. It's a Democrat fraud. It's a Democrat hoax. Like, using that language is disingenuous and it's rude, and I guess rude is the lightest way to call it, but it's just completely out of the pale, beyond the pale, for these people who have been aware of what the Jeffrey Epstein link and the Jeffrey Epstein connections to these multiple different alphabet groups across the country, across the world, and this whole blackmail ring, this whole global, financier blackmail ring that he was a part of, and to call it a hoax is just completely disingenuous. So we are going to go into that. James O'Keefe bringing the real receipts, bringing the real information, and on top of that, it is We Are Change Wednesday, so we are just going to I'm going to ask the audience, I'm going to propose questions to the live chat here. Everyone in the chat, what's up? Make yourselves known in the live chat, because that's what We Are Change Wednesdays are about, is trying to build that conversation, trying to build that community, build that network of communication and conversation with people, with like-minded, and maybe necessarily not even like-minded people, but having a debate and bringing the idea and the mantra that we are the change. And if we are going to see a better world, and we are going to try to stop this radical extremist behavior and this violent left-wing terrorism, as The Atlantic reports on it, if we are going to try to actively stop that or quell this, or as the media and Jimmy Kimmel and all these people have been saying the last week and a half, to turn the dial down on this extremist rhetoric, if we are going to actually want to do that and be actually a part of that, we have to be active in that conversation, and we have to basically have the difficult conversations and have these ideas being discussed and see what we can do to persevere forward. Otherwise we are going to fall spiraling deeper and deeper down into this should we say it, civil war. Civil before. But I don't want to be that guy. But we're here having a good time. If this is the first time joining Break the Chains Media, hit that thumbs up button, hit that follow button, join me. We do live streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights, Tyranny Response Tuesdays every Tuesday. We Are Change Wednesdays on every Wednesday night, or at least when I'm available or when I'm able to. We are getting into the colder months, so I am going to probably having to buckle down, as it were, trying to make some extra money with my actual job where I make money. This is something I do as just for a hobby, just for fun, because I did go to film school. I am a media guy. I love reporting on stuff. I'm a Politico, on-the-ground activist. That is who I am. That is who I've always been since 9/11 and since I graduated high school. Like, I've always been that guy on the ground. But this, unfortunately, is just something I do on my free time. It doesn't really pay the bills. But if you would like to support the channel, you can go to breakthechains.media. That is the website. That is the landing page. I do have the articles here. I have my other social media links here. And if you want to support the channel financially, you can check out Realm Walker Hot Sauce. Homemade, handmade, homegrown. There it is. Handmade, homegrown hot sauce here in the Mile High City of Colorado. From mild greens are the milds to extreme heat, smoky fire. Travel the realms of Norse mythology through hot sauce. You can pick up some of your bottles here. The ones I do have available right now, I do have Vanaheim, which is the orange habanero carrot. I also have Muspelheim, which is my favorite, is roasted super hot red peppers and roasted red peppers, Italian-style red peppers. And then I also have Asgard, which is arguably the hottest sauce I have made. Carolina Reapers, Dragon's Breath, garlic, beets, and tomatoes. These three are the ones in stock right now. The ones coming soon and back ordered are going to be Niflheim, Midgard. Those are the milder flavors. Jotunheim is a very premium blend. I'm hoping to get a batch of Jotunheim in the next run here. But Realm Walker Hot Sauce is the way to support the channel here. You can follow Realm Walker Hot Sauce on Instagram at Realm Walker Hot Sauce, or go to breakthechains.media to catch the landing page and read the articles here. Without further ado, folks, let's jump into it. This is kind of a I wasn't really sure what to kind of bring into this live stream tonight for the We Are Change Wednesday event, and then I did see this break with James O'Keefe. And I wanted to actually go to James O'Keefe's page, O'Keefe Media Group. Obviously, for anyone who isn't aware, James O'Keefe is a investigative journalist, reporter. He's been on the cutting edge of lots of different stories, but you definitely got to represent, definitely got to support James O'Keefe and what he does, at least trying to expose this information, you know. He had a video, the breaking story of him releasing the video of him, the video inside Jeffrey Epstein's like building with the weird baby, the baby that was like a framed picture of a baby in like a bathtub, like in the kitchen of his little St. James Island. Some weird stuff, but that is not what we're actually talking about. We are actually going to be talking about right now the breaking story of today. The DOJ Epstein investigator. Epstein was a CIA asset, says Trump was never present during assaults, but protecting others. Clinton present while, quote, rapes occurred. So that is the breaking news. That is the breaking information. Hopefully that is not going to get me kicked off of YouTube. So if you are on YouTube, just know that if we are talking about hot and dangerous topics, we may or may not lose the stream at YouTube, but depending, either way, you can follow me on Rumble, you can follow me on X, you can follow me on YouTube, all the good places here. But we are going to play this. We are going to jump into it. I'm going to show this video here that I got posted from James O'Keefe just a few hours ago. This is the video here. I'm going to read the intro. Quote, I've interviewed all the victims, says Glenn Prager, Jeffrey Epstein investigator from the Department of Justice. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and the abuses occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. The DOJ didn't want to go after Epstein because he is an asset for the United States and Israel. This is per the report from James O'Keefe. So let's check it out. What do we have here?
I think he's protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there, but he's protecting a lot of people.
Because Trump's now saying it's a hoax, the case is like a hoax or something. I'm like, come on, you know it's not a hoax. He's been on the plane, many times. Mm-hmm. It's just he was never on the plane with the kids.
I've seen the itineraries and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. While the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred.
Wow.
Overheard at Phoenix Airport on September 8th, 2025,
overheard?
a senior Justice Department investigator
Overheard?
who personally worked on the Epstein case tells all. Glenn Prager, who has reviewed Epstein itineraries and has interviewed Epstein's victims, drops a bombshell. He says that the DOJ did not want to go after Epstein because he's a CIA asset, that the evidence from his investigation confirms that Bill Clinton was present for alleged rapes on the Lolita Express, and that President Trump was not present for the rapes that Glenn Prager investigated, but that he is protecting a lot of other people that were.
How about this whole...
So see, that's the biggest problem.
So I worked on that case. I used to interview all the victims. And my picture was 20 to 30 victims in Palm Beach that I was interviewing and dealing with and stuff like that. And then we would go ready to go to trial and they would flip. Epstein would just pay them off. And they were just like these little kids. They pay off their family. They're all broke kids and poor families and all. So you pay them off like anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000. Nothing. And that guy is spoiled.
Prager there describes how...
Yeah, so I'm not going to play this whole video. I highly recommend someone. We might thumb through a little bit more here. I don't want to steal the whole thunder of his actual report here. I mean, it is on YouTube, so I mean, I guess it can't be bad if it's actually been posted to YouTube. So this video should be just fine on YouTube. Apparently now all the YouTube's actually being more friendly to some of these reports and some of this news that is political in nature or risque in nature. As in years past, they would just cancel you and just take you off of YouTube. But if this is on YouTube, I guess mine could be on YouTube as well. But this is actually pretty important because when you think about it, it ties right into the 2006 report of where was it? Oh man, I just had it. Hold on. It was Acosta. So hold on. Let me look it up here. Mike Benz Acosta report. Let's see. Let's check it out. See if I got it. Yeah. Pam, yeah. No. Okay. Western Journal. Choice clips. Let's open up this one. Let's open up that one. We do this in real time, folks. This is Break the Chains Media. We pull it up right now, right in real time. Yes. So, this is from the Western Journal. This is Alex Acosta. Alex Acosta, who served Secretary of Labor in President Donald Trump's administration, was quoted saying he was told to back off of Epstein when he was in the Department of Justice prosecutor because he belonged to intelligence. So this is corroborating something that was reported on almost a decade ago. Well, it was in 2006, I believe it was. 2007. Okay. So from the Western Journal, with unbelievable. Wait, hold on. Let me. Over the weekend, social media X platform number of prominent guest users responded to a two-page memo of the Attorney General Pam Bondi's Justice Department, which concluded, based on the results of DOJ FBI investigation, convicted child abuser Jeffrey Epstein, who died in federal prison under mysterious circumstances in 2019, committed suicide, had no incriminating client list, and that no credible evidence existed to suggest that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. With that unbelievable conclusion in mind, on Monday, former State Department official Mike Benz, perhaps best described as walking encyclopedia on the deep state, posted a series of screenshots reminding users that Alex Acosta, Secretary of Labor during President Trump's first administration, and the U.S. attorney who arranged Epstein's 2007 plea deal. So in 2007, 2007, Alex Acosta was working with the U.S. attorneys who arranged Jeffrey Epstein's original 2007 plea deal. Reportedly said that he was once told to back off of Epstein's case because he belonged to intelligence. Okay? I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. Okay? Mike Benz. Let's just pull this up. We're pulling it up. We're doing it in real time here, folks. This is what we do. Okay? July 7th, 2025, earlier this year, okay? Before the wheels really fell off this year, honestly, July was what was it? July, I think July was honestly right when everything kind of shit the bed as far as America, like that was the same time frame that we got slapped in the face with the Democrat Epstein hoax and nothing's real and Epstein was a fake man and nothing, the Epstein files they weren't even, they didn't ever even existed. We should all move on as a country together, right? This bullshit, right? So Mike Benz, the DOJ official who gave Epstein the sweetheart plea deal in 2008 and who was quoted saying he was, quote, told to back off, belonged to intelligence, mysteriously had 11 months of DOJ emails to him in that time period mysteriously disappear. So this is all corroborating the same stuff that James O'Keefe is pulling up right now. So there's a data gap of roughly 11 months in Alexander Acosta's incoming email box. The gap covers the period from May 2007 through mid-2008. Isn't that interesting? The very same span when the prosecutors are drafting a 60-count federal indictment of Jeffrey Epstein, negotiating and watering down the non-prosecution agreement and deciding not to arrest him. Isn't that interesting that there's a data gap in Alex Acosta's emails? Okay? IT staff and Acosta all told investigators they had no idea that the messages were gone. No effort has yet recovered those emails, and they remain unavailable to the public record. Huh. How interesting is that? So, this is the same person that initially, in 2008, said Jeffrey Epstein was tied to intelligence. And now we have corroborating evidence through James O'Keefe saying that Jeffrey Epstein worked with the CIA. Okay? Very interesting. Mike Benz explains how the Epstein files are controlled by the CIA, not the FBI, and demands that the agency release everything to the public. Let's take a listen.
That would have been splashed and carved into granite if they could get after a Mike Benz. Boy, man, they would have made sure that was plastered and printed on a daily basis.
Why does hold on really quick. Why does Mike Benz look like a sucker fish, like a carp that you catch in the bottom of a lake, right? I'm just
in front of the New York Times.
Observation.
If you were part of this list.
So I want answers from the CIA on this. Why have I heard absolutely nothing? And
Can
this
you unpack
again,
that, please? Can you unpack that? So, why is the CIA
it.
the skeleton key here?
Well, so starting with what we've covered, and then I'll trace it into the wider webs here. So, in 2008, the sweetheart deal with Epstein was struck over the objections of the FBI. The DOJ basically reached into the case, met directly with the defense lawyers for Epstein, who were basically the highest paid defense lawyers you can buy. Many of them had personal relations with the prosecutors. One of the defense counsel had dated one of the DOJ officials.
How convenient.
And they had all sorts of personal connections. And then Alex Acosta was then being interviewed by the White House transition team in 2016 for 2017 for a cabinet level role. Alex Acosta went from being the Jeffrey Epstein deal negotiator and the guy who overrode the FBI to give this sweetheart deal to Epstein to being a cabinet level secretary for Trump 1 in the Department of Labor.
We just broke that down, but let me see if there's anything else that he's coming. Let me
and began
forward a little
to
bit.
effectively work his way up to getting power of attorney over the entire Epstein estate, and then mysteriously go on to manage billions or hundreds of millions of dollars for the Epstein for the Wexner network.
He's talking about
there.
Wexner,
Epstein then became involved even more directly in intelligence adjacent work. He was involved in the negotiation of the relocation of the very Iran-Contra CIA airline company. This is Continental Air Services, Air America.
So this is just a larger unpacking, and this is just the full rundown how Epstein is running with the CIA. And we're just trying to connect this with what O'Keefe is trying to pull in, right? So let me see if I can find something a little bit further down the line with O'Keefe here, really quick. Let me see if we can find something else, some new stuff, because I think we're all aware that Epstein is involved with the CIA. Epstein is not only an intelligence asset, but he's a financier with Leslie Wexner, and he works hand in hand with the wow, I should go grab my notebook. It's upstairs. But it's like a company. It's a grand company. It's a very basic ass name, but he works hand in hand with this large company that basically pulls and moves this money around.
Oh my God.
Here he is.
Keep working. He's working.
Hey there, is this Glenn?
Yes.
You work for the Department of Justice, correct?
No.
You don't work for the Department of Justice. You had a patch on your backpack that said FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, in the airport.
Yeah.
And you talked about how you interviewed the Epstein people, all the Epstein victims. Do you recall that conversation?
So this is today?
I didn't. No. I don't know. How can I help you?
I wanted to confirm that you, in fact, did work for the department. Hang on with the phone. Let's try calling him again.
He kind of just cold called.
Glenn?
I'm not talking to you.
Well,
I don't know who you are. I'm not talking to you.
You already did speak to my friend.
He's cold calling him. What are you doing, James?
Hey, now stop talking. I don't know who you are.
I'm a journalist. I need your help, sir.
I'm not talking to you or any journalists about anything.
Did you interview the Epstein victims?
I can't talk to you.
Sir. On the heels of releasing this story, I wanted to emphasize just how touching it was for me to see Erica Kirk stand on stage in front of those 74,000.
Okay, well that's a whole different thing. But what the fuck was that, James? I thought that would have been a little bit more of an impactful moment. But let me see. What else? What do we have here? What do you actually have for me, James?
Prager's life is now changed forever. You, my guy, who are familiar with the files, familiar with Epstein, leadership in our government is not people, even God-fearing people, are going to resort not to forgiveness, but vengeance. We cannot allow that to happen. And the only solution is exposure, journalism, sunlight, as the best disinfectant. When the leadership in our government is not forthcoming and transparent about matters they should be, you will see men on the front lines, men on the inside, like this Glenn Prager guy, who are familiar with the files, familiar with Epstein, familiar with who's on the airplanes. Indeed, he's the guy who actually interviewed all the victims in Palm Beach. Well, you'll see people like this be forthcoming and honest when their leadership isn't. I recognized Prager's life is now changed forever.
All right, good stuff, James. Too bad we couldn't get actually more from this. Like he didn't, why did you even add that to the video, bro? Not a good look, in my opinion. That's not a good look. The fact that you couldn't get more information out of him and you're just cold calling him, that's kind of ridiculous.
To be fully transparent with the Epstein case, gave us some details about internal gripes against FBI Director Kash Patel from within the FBI, and he detailed a developing feud between Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi. If you'd like to see more of that conversation in the restaurant, you may subscribe to OMG and find it on our website.
Who is like the one name where you're like, oh my God?
Like, okay, awesome. Let's get to the bottom of it, James, okay? Like, the fact that there is an internal rift happening right now, the fact that we do have enough information as independent journalists and people just on the internet, we could just look this stuff up right now, like I did in 2 seconds. I just looked it up and I just found this information, you know? It's very easy to find this stuff. I have these items saved, you know? And for James O'Keefe to come in and drop this bombshell, and like, to be fair, like, it is not necessarily a bombshell. It is more of a corroboration. It is corroborating this information that Mike Benz has already been speaking up on, and the fact that Alex Acosta even already had this sweetheart deal back in before. However, we also are talking about a person who is it is alleged that this Glenn Prager person, that this Glenn Prager individual, just because he has a patch on his backpack that says he works for the Department of Justice, how can we confirm that this is actually someone from the Department of Justice? Right? Because for all we know, this might just be a dude that's doing the same information that we have. But, you know, I would err on the side of reasonable responsibility that James O'Keefe does do honest reporting and he does actually get this stuff out as it needs to be. So I don't think that it would be, you know, improper, but I do see that this is a corroboration of what we originally knew about Epstein and what we are now finding out about Epstein regarding the O'Keefe Media Group uncovering, right? So I encourage everyone to go check out the new information that was dropped. There is a larger thing happening between the Department of Justice and the FBI, and the fact that if we think that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are, and even Pam Bondi, like, and I've said this before, the fact that they are the first level of a higher ring of police and justice and investigation, right? They are the very first level in a much deeper rung of CIA, MI5, MI6, global intelligence, Interpol. There's a lot more people, and there's a lot more groups that have a lot more sway when it comes to what can be discussed and what can't be discussed. I think the FBI is, for lack of better terms, I mean, it's child's play compared to the larger echelons of blackmail, cover-up, intelligence operations, spy games, statecraft, as it were. Like the FBI, and right now the FBI with the whole Charlie Kirk thing and everything happening with Charlie Kirk, it's not looking very good, folks. And the fact that the FBI is in this weird area of like ridiculousness, right? And now they have to deal with the Dallas shooting at the ICE facility, and this other, you know, the FBI is getting pulled way in 100 different directions right now. You think about it. Think about the fact that the FBI is now having to deal with the Epstein cover-up, which, well, I mean, they originally came out and said there's nothing new, there's no more information. So they kind of gave us a big slap on the ass with that. And then the whole recent stuff with Charlie Kirk and the assassination attempt, the assassinations of Charlie Kirk, and then the 2 assassination attempts with Donald Trump and the Ryan Ralph thing. So all of that investigation, and then covering up of the Epstein files, covering up of the Epstein list, everyone losing their collective minds over the fact that that's taken place. The FBI does not have a good track record right now, and now we're dealing with the ICE shooting that happened earlier today, and now they're still trying to trace all these other loose ends with the Charlie Kirk assassination, which I think a lot of people are on the boat of. Yeah, Charlie Kirk. Not. There's a lot of things that aren't really adding up with that whole thing. As every day goes by and everything that comes undone, more and more people are leaning into that the FBI is not being totally honest with the Charlie Kirk information. Thumbs up in the chat if you agree with that. Folks, if you'd like this kind of free form conversation discussion about the news, give me a thumbs up, share this video, follow this page, follow me on X, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, Rumble, you name it, follow it, be a part of it, be a part of the discussion, be a part of the change you wish to see in the world. But let's pop into current information regarding the Dallas ICE shooting. FBI probes targeted attack after gunman opens fire. And you know what's interesting, and I thought this was interesting as well. I hope that there's, why does this look like this? Why is it like half a page? Hold on. Why is this like this? What the fuck is going on? Back. Wait. Let's do this. Why does it look like this? Can I get the report? Can I get the actual report? Why does it look like this? It just looks so weird. Let me look it up again because no, that's on YouTube, New York Times, US blah 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 blah, trash. Let's do a local one. This is a local Texas news report from the ICE shooting. Let's take a listen. Okay.
With anywhere from 10 to life in prison.
Shannon Miller tonight. Thanks so much.
Oh, that's live. This is live. That's live. We don't care about that. I wanted to find a picture of the magazine, the quick load magazine of the written bullets. Why is this looking like this? Is it why are these articles looking so weird right now? Okay. Give it a rest.
Tonight, FBI agents
Come on.
searching a home in Fairview that...
Come on. Wow. Love it. F's in the chat for my fucking
property
computer.
records connect to the suspected shooter's family, trying to gather more evidence to figure out what prompted 29-year-old Joshua John to open fire on a Dallas ICE facility early this morning. At the scene of the attack, investigators combed
Can we not do this?
through a car that appears connected to the suspect. On the side, a map of the United States and wording that references fallout from nuclear explosions passing over parts of the country. It's unclear whether the message is connected to the shooting, but law enforcement experts tell us it's another piece of information FBI behavioral analysts will likely look at, along with digital messages the suspect may have left behind.
So they're going to grab phones, any electronic device. They'll have teams in place making application for search warrants to get into them. Search warrants to access online, everything about this guy, social media and the rest. With a view towards establishing motive, ideology.
I want to see those bullets.
His path towards radicalization.
ICE also released.
Oh, excuse me. I can't mess with it.
A photo, the agency says, shows shell casings recovered at the scene with what they describe as anti-ICE messages written on them. A source with knowledge of the situation at the scene tells NBC5 investigates the shots were fired with a bolt-action rifle before the gunman apparently took his own life on the rooftop where he took aim from across the street. Experts say hardening ICE facilities to protect against sniper-style attacks would be extremely difficult.
In this case, with ICE officers coming and going and doing their jobs, they can't be adequately protected from this. This will be a daily recurring risk to every man and woman that works.
This is the problem that we're
ICE
facing in this
officials
world
calling
today
for an end to what they describe as anti-law enforcement rhetoric that's putting officers and detainees at risk.
It's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives.
A colleague of ours at NBC News spoke with the shooter's brother. He said he did not think his brother was interested in politics on either side. He also said his brother knew how to use a rifle but was, quote, not a marksman. Court records we examined show the suspect's only prior criminal case appears to be a marijuana charge about 9 years ago in Collin County. He pleaded guilty in that case as part of a deferred adjudication agreement with prosecutors where the conviction is removed after completing probation. Also tonight, the University of Texas at Dallas confirms their records indicate a person with the shooter's name and date of birth briefly attended UT Dallas over a decade ago. Brian?
Interesting details. Thank you, Scott. New at 6, we have also learned there is a search underway in Bryan County, Oklahoma. That is just north of the Red River and includes Durant. When NBC News spoke with Joshua John's brother Noah, he said that Joshua was planning to move to their parents' property there. Our NBC affiliate in the area says multiple law enforcement vehicles have been seen on that property.
NBC5's Alicia Barrera has been near the facility. She's spoken to people who had loved ones inside when this happened and heard the gunfire. Alicia, what have you learned?
Who was shot?
Yeah, some of the folks that were scheduled to be here at this ICE facility tell me they arrived as early as 6 a.m. and it was for a normal annual check-in procedure with ICE. And it started as normal with fingerprinting, but then they say soon after, and this was around 6 a.m., soon after that, they started hearing their gunshots, and they say they didn't know where they were coming from or where they were aimed at. But once ICE officials confirmed to them that they would need to leave the facility, they were warned that they could possibly see bodies on the ground. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, and that's because the crime scene was on the opposite end of the building. According to DHS, the shooter struck a van in the Sally Port of the Dallas ICE field office, which is located on the opposite end of the building's main entrance. Earlier, we could actually still see 2 white unmarked vans with doors open, and those were blocked off by crime scene tape. Those vehicles located just feet away from the exit gate where you'll often see transport vans from ICE come in and out. Investigators tell us the detainees were inside one of those vans at the time of the shooting. One was killed. 2 others we know are in critical condition. So those immigrants inside the ICE field office present for their check-in today tell us there were about 40 to 50 other people inside, some arriving today as early as 5 a.m.
I wonder why
we spoke to Denise, whose mom was inside the ICE facility when this gunfire began. She happened to be on a video call with a family member when this happened.
Interesting. All right, I'm done with this one. Let's go. Let's go to this article. So here, let's round it. Let's round that energy out, folks. So we're sitting here now. We have now witnessed not only the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We have now seen an anti-ICE, not only the anti-ICE protest that started this summer, but now we are seeing people, extremists, being emboldened by the assassination of Charlie Kirk to now open fire indiscriminately at ICE facilities, as well as ABC affiliate buildings, right? Excuse me. So the ABC affiliate building was shot last week because of the response of Jimmy Kimmel and that whole debacle of the stupidity of, like, the whole Jimmy Kimmel debacle, which is, I think, honestly pretty stupid. The fact that, you know, a lot of people were saying it was the FCC, and even myself, I was saying, yeah, FCC, you're restricted between the broadcast and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's the affiliates and the people and the companies that were going to be broadcasting what Jimmy Kimmel was speaking. They were like, "Nah, we're not going to do that. Not after Charlie Kirk. Not after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. For the world to see." So we are seeing this left-wing extremism on the rise. And The Atlantic, of all people, of all articles, wrote an article speaking about left-wing terrorism is on the rise. And we're going to get into that here in just a minute. But I'm just trying to, we're painting a picture here. Because you have the leftists, these leftists that are so passionately standing in their in their vindication of they're on the right side, and they actually say the phrase, "You're on the wrong side of history," to extremists, like to the right wings, or anyone who doesn't agree with the left. The left will say you're on the wrong side of history. Well, folks, who burned down the cities after George Floyd was killed by Derek Chauvin? Who billions of dollars of damage, 30 plus people were actually killed during the summer of love in 2020, 2021, right? That whole time during the Obama, no one batted an eye. They said, what did Kamala Harris say? Kamala Harris said, riots is the voice of the unheard, or this behavior is the voice of the unheard, or some shit like that. I mean, they and not only did they defend what they did, but they actually made and filled out for the Kamala Harris and all other Democrat affiliates actually raised funds to get people out of jail and out of their cases to make bail. It's ridiculous. And you're going to sit here and tell me you're going to actually live this lie that right-wing extremism is the radical right, the far right, the Nazis and the white nationalists are to blame. I'm not saying that those people don't exist, because they do exist in this world, just like African American albino people exist, right? Just like we have the white tiger that lives in the forest somewhere. They are a rare breed of people. They do exist, but they're few and far between. They are not the threat that they think that they make it out to be. Right now, the absolute threat right now is leftist extremism and leftist terror cells, whether it's Antifa, whether it's just people that are just completely off their rocker. And you can tie in the fact of SSRIs, tie in the fact of medical intoxication, or ideological intoxication from colleges, from institutionalized indoctrination, institutionalized illness, right? There's so many different ways that these leftists fall into these mental traps and these extremist holes, and then they fall into these conversations with like-minded lunatics, and then I call it the left-wing circle jerk, honestly, because all they do is they pat each other on the back while they're jerking each other off, and they're sitting there saying, yeah, this, you're absolutely right. White nationalism is bad, and white guilt. We should feel guilty for being white people, and racism and gender ideology, and how many different expressions there are, and the climate change is going to kill the planet, and sea levels are on the rise, and we have to stop oil, and we have to stop Orange Man, and they just unwind, they unravel. And you can see it, and now we're dealing with this in real time right now from The Atlantic. I'm not going to read this whole article, but I'm just showing you that this is literally, you wouldn't see this stuff written 2 years ago. Okay? They would write articles putting leftist on pedestals. They would write articles saying how good and amazing and how progressive the world is because of these left-wing individuals. You would never see The Atlantic write an article with a headline like this. For the first time in more than 30 years, attacks by the far left outnumber those by the far right. Where is this data coming from? Where is this information actually coming from? I would like to know, honestly. And this ties in with the ADL hate map. We should actually pull that up right now, because yeah, this ties in with this extremist map, right? So, and this is why, interesting. This is an interactive map, okay? The ADL heat map. and I'm using the ADL for a specific reason, okay? This is the hate map. Look at this, okay? And the way that they frame it, the way that they narrate it, the way that they tie these stories together, and how, and obviously it's just the United States, but I mean, do you see how they make it look like it's so bad? They make it look so terrible, okay? So they have anti-Semitic incidents, anti-LGBTQ incidents, white supremacist propaganda, white supremacist events, extremist murders, terrorist plots, and extremist police shootouts. But the only thing that takes place in Denver, apparently, is anti-Semitic incidents. And that's interesting, isn't that interesting? What are these? The anti-Israeli activism audit of Oath Keepers, white supremacist gangs, for more work from the Center on Extremism. So point I'm trying to make here is that they are literally Manhattan. It just takes over the whole eastern seaboard. Manhattan. 10,000 incidents. Dun, dun, dun. Evil. Crazy. Insane. Right? So this interactive map is from the ADL, and the way that they label it, the way that they mark it, the way that they so filter by incident type, like ideology. So look at how they break it down, folks. They have right wing in parentheses white supremacist, and then they have left wing, and then they have right wing anti-government, and they have right wing other, and then they have Islamist, and then they have unknown, and then they have other. Okay? So they have 3 different ways they break it down for the right wing, but they only have one way that they break it down for the left wing. Let's just see what it looks like on a left wing map. Oh my gosh, would you look at that? The ADL says that there's only 3 incidents. There are only 3 incidents in the entire... Wait, that was in New Jersey. Hold on. Look at... This is what left wing. This is the map of left wing edited filter on the ADL map. Okay? Left wing extremism. Okay? This category includes groups and movements traditionally considered part of the far left, as well as anarchists. It also includes environmental animal rights extremists. For simplicity's sake, it also includes black nationalists, even though not all black nationalist extremist groups are necessarily fall under the banner of the far left. Okay, so using that one filter, we have what it looks like, Oregon. So we have so this is the list. This is the only thing that they have for left wing. They have a terrorist plot 2024 in Berkeley, California, terrorist plot in Oregon, and a terrorist plot in Alabama. So the entire fucking United States, they only have 3 incidents for the entire United States for the left. But wait for it. Right wing. So we have 3 different ways that they filter for right wing. Look at, oh my gosh, right wing terrorism everywhere. Oh my gosh. See, this is why you get an article like this. It fuels the left wing mental mindset fuckery of the right wing's out to get us. Now you're sitting here seeing, and this is why I actually you pulled up the ADL because I have the new tolerance campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, I highly encourage you to investigate and use the new tolerance campaign.org, because this is essentially what the ADL omits. This is what the ADL refuses to report on or refuses to talk on. The New Tolerance Campaign tracks hate and hard left extremists in the United States today. Our work is designed to be used as a resource for the media, civil servants, and the general public. Okay? So the New Tolerance hate map, and we have the heat map from the ADL here. Okay? And obviously the ADL is a little bit more interactive. It's a little bit more hot to trot. It looks cooler, right? So now we're just gonna clear all, and we're just gonna apply. So this is their map. This is the ADL's map, but we're gonna go over to the New Tolerance campaign. This is a national map for. Oh look, they added Yara Zokai. Ha! Yes, amazing. She's a representative for Colorado here. A representative in the Colorado State Legislature in April 2025, Assemblywoman Yara Zokai declared concerned parents of trans kids to be, quote, hate groups and compared them to the KKK. Rep. Zokai later, a Democrat, later doubled down on her statements, citing the Southern Poverty Law Center to justify her assertion that it's like asking someone working on civil rights legislation to consult with white supremacist groups. Like, so this might not be as, this is reporting. I highly encourage everyone and anyone to join, to add. If you get leftist, if you get extremist behavior, if you get leftist behavior, like, we need to be continuously adding to the New Tolerance campaign and promote this and build this up to be just as viable as the ADL. The ADL is obviously biased, and I don't want to. I mean, this is obviously equally biased, but it's not biased in the sense of omission. It's biased in the sense that the ADL refuses to objectively report on extremists of the left variety. So we have to make a map that says this is all the people of the left variety of extremism, right? The Atlantic has to report on it, right? It's incredible. This is the world we live in, folks, and I want everyone to be aware, and I want everyone to be understanding that this is what's going on in our society right now today. So I am going to wrap up here. Finishing up, my throat is a little. It's been giving me a hard time for longer than I'd like, but I want to end on this for anyone who's in Colorado, and honestly, politics in general. Right now, I'm going to pause this because I don't really care what she has to say, but I am going to bring this up. So I'm actually trying to find this right now because I want to. GOP. I got it right. GOP. Whatever. 34. Check this out, folks. Wrapping up here. Wrapping up this segment. Wrapping up this live stream in just a few minutes. But I wanted to finish off with a Colorado report. Barb Kirkmeyer. She is she's a senator, I believe. Senator Kirkmeyer. Is that what it is? Yeah. Yeah. There are 34 people now running to be governor of Colorado. 34 people running to be governor of Colorado. Okay? I'm sure that includes both parties. So the Democrats have Mike Bennett, Phil Weiser, William Moses. Right now the governor is Jared Polis. He is termed out. But now chances are he's probably going to go run to be a senator or a federal position, and then he's going to or he's going to try to go run straight to president. He's probably going to try to run for president. Honestly, maybe not this term, but maybe in another cycle. But you got three main Democrats running, or four Democrats that formerly lodged campaign, but Griswold is running for attorney general. But the problem is you got Republicans. You got 16 Republicans. 16 Republicans running for this fucking governor spot, okay? You got Barbara Kirkmeyer, Greg Lopez, Scott Bottoms, Mark Baisley, Jason Mikesell, Jason Clark, Josh Griffin, Alexander Mugatu. Like, these are just top ones. So you have so many people here running for the GOP position for the gubernatorial race here in Colorado. And I don't understand why we can't just coalesce the forces and say we need to get on track and put all these people in the proper positions and run a good campaign with a good candidate and beat the goddamn Democrats out of a governor's spot here in the 2026 campaign, in a campaign race here. Okay? So far, the party is yet to rally behind a single challenger to the Democrats. So you got 16 people running. I said, why are there over a dozen GOP gubernatorial candidates? Why can't we just combine and strategize together to beat the leftist in control? Like, this is how it has to be. I don't understand why. I don't understand the disconnect. I know that there are a lot of like they might have good candidates and good ideas, and these people want to rise to the surface. But if we're in dire straits right now in Colorado, and we want to actually get a good foothold in trying to stop the communist creep, the communist takeover here in Colorado, you got to put someone in control in the top seat, and then put these other lieutenants and other important people around a coalescing message to then fight and put all of our financial effort forward in a campaign that could win, rather than having 15 people trying to like use little wooden mallets to knock down this big communist fucking building that's taken over Colorado, this communist evil that's taken over Colorado. Everyone's hitting it with little wooden mallets. I want a goddamn wrecking ball to come in, put all your forces together, and knock the fucker out. Right? So Barbara Kirkmeyer announced a campaign 3 hours ago. I like Scott Bottoms personally. Scott Bottoms has got a great message. He's got a great backbone. Mark Baisley is actually really good as well. Both of them are very vocal in their positions. I think Mark Baisley, he's a senator. He could actually do a lot of good with what he does. But I just think that there needs to be a better strategy right now, because I don't see a strategy from the Colorado GOP. I just don't see it, and I want to see a strategy. Let's take a listen here. It's 35 seconds long. Let's see what Barbara Kirkmeyer has to say.
Now, some say you have to be a Democrat to win statewide in Colorado. I just don't think so. I say Colorado is ready for a new direction, ready for a common sense conservative leader who will roll up her sleeves, work with people, and deliver real results, not political games. As your governor, I won't raise your taxes. I'll fight for affordability, make our communities safe, fix our darn roads, and partner with local governments to actually solve, work with people, solve problems. Some say you have to actually solve problems.
No. The fact that a governor has to run on her campaign on fixing your roads, what does that say about the last multiple administrations here in Colorado? The fact that the government has severely mismanaged our money? Come on. That's ridiculous. I'll fix the darn roads. I'm not making fun of Kirkmeyer. I'm saying I'm calling out the ridiculousness that Colorado is. We're in this financial debt. We're in a financial dead spin right now. We're in almost $1 billion deficit, and our roads can't be fixed. So our governor has to run on a campaign to fix the fucking roads. That's ridiculous.
Actually solve problems.
It's time. Okay. You know what? I got no qualms with Kirkmeyer. Anyone that's not a fucking, that actually can stand up against the communist takeover here in Colorado, I validly stand behind and give them grace, because I appreciate that they're not communists, but I also understand that there's a lot of weak and spineless individuals in the Colorado GOP, statewide and federally represented wide as well. So you have to call a spade. I always go back to this. Call a spade, right? Call it for what it is. If you ain't gonna stand up and like hold your morals, hold your principles, and hold your values, regardless, because there's so many GOPs right now. So many people in the state GOP particularly love rolling over and showing their fucking belly to these communists, so that as long as they can keep a seat at the table, they'll play ball. Well, bitch, we ain't playing ball anymore. We ain't even playing your goddamn game. We're backing out. we're driving in with a fucking wrecking ball, and we're driving over this bitch. That's what I want to see Colorado politics to actually like be substantially different than the last generation of Colorado politics here in the state house, legislature, state senate, all these things. I hope that goes into other states as well. We need to see a renaissance of a resurgence of what it means to be principled in politics. Do not succumb to backdoor deals, holding seats at the table, and this pathetic game that I get a tit for tat conversation, okay? No compromise, no surrender, okay? I believe in, it's a good strategy. I think it's a principled strategy that the more you compromise, like if we were to compromise on slices of cake, if we were to have a cake and we were to compromise on who gets what slice of this cake and how many slices we divvy it up, right? Or over time, how many slices can we cut out of this cake? And we have to agree on this conversation of, well, how much do you get and how much do I get? Consider this as bills. Consider this legislation, whether it's gun rights, trans rights, parental rights, freedom of speech, you name it. The cake is the topic. The cake is the argument, right? If we have to compromise on who gets a piece of what or how much of the piece do you get, every time you compromise, you lose a slice of the fucking cake, okay? So the more we compromise on gun rights, for example, if we compromise a little bit here and a little bit there, oh, they want to ban 30-round magazines? Well, let's just compromise on 15 round. Like 15 round will be the limit, right? So don't infringe on our rights, but we can agree that 15 rounds is safe. Well, we just lost the fight for 30-round magazines, standard issue magazines. We just lost our right to standard capacity. So if you over the year over different legislative processes, the next thing you know, we're legislating against bump stocks, we're legislating against trigger pulls, we're legislating against barrel length, we're legislating against optics, we're legislating against you name it, ammunition type, how old you can be. The next thing you know, we compromise until there's this much left of a Second Amendment. That's why you don't fucking compromise. You don't fucking compromise, and that's that. And so we need a principled backbone to stand up against these people that try to take away our rights piece by piece. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. Leftist violence is on the rise. Leftists in our state houses are on the rise. We have to stand up against these against the legislatures. We have to stand up against these people trying to not only pass Orwellian tyrannical laws, but allow for Orwellian tyrannical institutionalized terror through means of their radical ideology. Okay, folks, I am wrapping up. We're a little over an hour now. My throat is feeling it. But I appreciate everyone joining Break the Chains Media. We are Change Wednesdays every Wednesday. Tyranny Response Tuesdays every Tuesday. Follow me on X at Break the Chains M. Follow me on Instagram at Break the Chains Media. I do live streams on Rumble. I do live streams on YouTube. I do live streams on X. I appreciate everyone being here. We are going to go over here, though, and we are going to run a raid on the one and only Beanie Compound, because that is what we do here. Once we are done with our stream here on Rumble, we jump over and we stream and we raid the Beanie Compound stream. Like I said, if you are in Colorado and you want to be a part of this fight, you join me, you talk to me, let's get connected, because this is what we have to do. We have to stay involved, stay in the fight, make sure that nothing's guaranteed in this world, okay? Nothing is guaranteed. We have to make sure that we are all here, we are all present, and we are all a part of this fight, the fight for freedom. and the fight for the future generations, the fight for humanity. That is what we are doing here on Break the Chains Media, breaking the chains of conformity, the chains of control, the chains of the left-right paradigm, the chains of tyranny. We have to be the change we wish to see in this world. So with that, folks, I appreciate you. I love you. And as always, fight for freedom and never give up.
And he wins the popular vote, and you say, please, Mr. President, illegal immigration is a very large concern for the American people. Zohran Mamdani looks your...
Bro, insane.